Hello, Dominic from BMT Spain, website for beginners to advanced players. And this video is an answer to one of my subscribers about the forehand volley wrist practice. And he reminded me that I made a video about hammer the forehand like Roger Federer, and I talked about ulnar deviation. And he wanted to know, because now I'm talking about flexion into neutral, he wanted to know what's the difference. Is it a combination? Which one to use? And can you show me some wrist positions in close-up? So let's do it. Now, the video hammer your forehand like Federer, I was showing putting a nail in the wall like this, because now you are using your wrist and you're not using your arm to hit the nail in the wall. So I want you to do the same. In the volley, you want to use your hand and your wrist to play the volley and not your arm. And the hammer movement is actually going from radial to ulnar deviation. And how to explain that better? Now, if you let your arm hang next to you and you take your racket in the continental grip or hammer grip, or even in the eastern forehand grip if you want, but I'm taking the hammer grip. Now, if I lift up my arm, you will see that I have here a 120-degree angle in my position. Now, if I go and bring the racket back, now I have a 90-degree angle between my racket and my underarm, the L shape. This is the position that most coaches want you to have in your forehand volley and want you to keep during the whole volley, which I do not recommend. And the ulnar deviation position is the opposite, where your wrist is down like this, 180 degree. Now, you will never volley until the 180, maybe the 160 maximum. But if I make a volley and I do like this, I have here, let's say, a 160 degree, not a 180. This is where you can hurt your wrist. So a good wrist movement goes to a 160 maximum, let's say. Now, the hammer motion is going from radial to ulnar deviation. Now, without the racket, my hand is in a neutral position. This is radial deviated position, up, and this is ulnar deviated position, down. Now, if I go up and down, this is what I call the hammer movement. And this is also the reason why I said or used the word hammer, because at that time for me a hammer is a better visual, because everybody knows what is using a hammer. And when we watched Federer, I showed you the pictures that he started in that 90-degree angle, but at contact he was in a 120, 125, and after contact he was in a 140, 160, depending which volley he wanted to play. So he was moving. There is wrist movement like there is in the forehand, like there is in the backhand, like there is in the serve. There is wrist movement towards contact and after contact. So for that I said hammer your forehand, because you can hammer here or here or here. The hammer motion you can do completely wherever you want on your right side. Now, flexion into neutral. What is the difference? Well, neutral means that my hand is in line with my underarm. So now my hand is in line with my underarm. This is in extended position. This is flexion. I don't want to go into a completely flexed position. I want to make the flexion motion, but I will stop in a neutral position. So that's why I say flexion into neutral. Now, we have to understand the difference is that I can use only flexion. If the ball is more around here, I'm going to lay back my hand and flexion against the ball. But that ball will not have a lot of backspin, or you can call it slice. It will have a little more power, but less control. Now, I can also have that extended position and bring it into that radial deviated position. Now, so let's show it from here. I extend and bring my wrist up, extended position in that radial deviated position. Now, if I would ask you, hammer, you would do this. And you can see I come in that neutral position. And the same extended position into that radial, now flexion to neutral, I will do this, and I'm again in that neutral position. So the hammer and flexion is actually the same, but you can flexion separate it. If you want more slice or backspin, you need the hammer motion because you want to go down on the ball a little bit to have that backspin or that slice. So when I say track it with the racket and the ball goes up, you do like this. You're in that extended radial deviated position. Now if you hammer or you flexion into neutral, yeah, that will be the same movement. I said track it with the racket for a lower ball. Now I also said when you're in contact, you go back if you want to give the ball a little more speed or control. Now track it with the racket. Now I'm in that ulnar deviated position. I cannot put spin on it in this position. I need to go up, yeah, to get that radial deviated position to have slice. But because my hand is here down, I bring my hand back and now I am in that radial deviated position, and from here I'm going to hammer or flexion into neutral and making spin into that ball and keep the control over that ball. So from neutral, lay back, you can only do flexion, less spin. You can lay back and go to radial deviated position, and from here you can flexion into neutral or you can hammer the ball. And from radial to ulnar, yeah, if you're in an ulnar, you have to go back up to go back down against the ball, making that hammer motion. So to be short, hammer and flexion is the same, but if you have the hammer, you will have more spin than if you use only flexion. So for the lower balls and the higher balls, yeah, it's better to have a little more hammer. And if you have the ball that comes around here and you want some speed, you can use only the flexion. So yes, it's the same, and yes, it's a combination. So when to use? Well, lower balls, higher balls, you can use more the hammer, flexion more on the chest high balls, yeah, if you want a little more power. And yeah, you have seen the grips. This is radial deviated position, the wrist is up. This is ulnar deviated position, the wrist is down. This is neutral, and neutral is here, even with the underarm. This is an extended position. This is extended in radial deviation, and this is flexed. You will never go in that position. So it was for Snowy, this video. I hope it's more clear, and thank you for watching. See you in another video.